One of the biggest things that we have today as a threat is that we have forgotten that prayer comes second. Let me today say this today, and I know a lot of people are going to say, what is he talking about? But I'll explain myself. Prayer doesn't come first. I have said it here before, and I want to repeat. God knew you even before you were born. All the prayers that we make, we are praying and speaking to God. Let me tell you something. God knows what you want to talk about even before you talk about it. All we need as a people is the wisdom, is not prayer. Prayer comes second. The wisdom to understand what you are supposed to have. It is not what we want. The things that we think we need has already been given to us by God when He was creating us. He has already put these things in front of us, and we have the right to have them. When God created the man, He told the man that all these things in front of you belongs to you. You can eat from every tree in this land, except the one in the middle of the land. God gave the man the mandate over every creature that is created. So when you are being born, the moment you land, you have the right to take whatever you are supposed to get. One thing that stops us from getting all these things is motivation and prayer. I'll give the first example. Any person who went to find healing or to find help from Jesus Christ as a Christian, any person who went to find help from Jesus, there was something that Jesus said before that help. Jesus always asked for something before He prayed. When He went to a place where people were wedding and there was no wine, and the women approached Him and asked Him, we don't have wine and we have guests and we cannot leave them like this. Jesus never prayed. Jesus asked them, where are the pots? Fill them with water. And prayer came second. After those pots were filled with water, that's when Jesus prayed. He didn't pray before He saw the water. He didn't pray before those pots were brought in front of Him. Prayer comes second. I'll give you another example. When Jesus healed the woman who touched His cloth, what did He say? Your faith has healed you. You need to have the faith first in yourself before you pray. Why are prayers not being answered? We do not have faith in us. We do not even understand who God is. We do not even understand God's power. We don't even understand the person we are speaking to. We just go on praying. We just pray. You wake up in the morning and you're just praying. You do not understand the person you're speaking to. That person you're speaking to while you're praying already knows what you want to ask him. So you are the person who needs to understand who he is. You don't need to go to God with prayers that you pray and you all still doubt. You need to show God your work. You need to go and work. So many people have been asking this question. Why is he not going to church? Why is he not praying? Why doesn't he even know God? But he's succeeding. They don't even pray. They don't know God. They don't ask him, but they get everything that they want. Then somebody is going to motivate you. Somebody is going to come with motivation to start to make you happy in your problems, to help you to nurse your pain and tell you that, you know what, riches is just the things of the world. Oh, you don't need a car. Oh, don't worry about the wealth that you see out there. These things, the people who have them will never go to heaven. Have you ever been to heaven yourself? Who has ever been to that heaven and came back and told you that the people driving here on earth are not in heaven? Our prayers are not being answered because we have been so lazy. The people who know God are so lazy these days. We are so lazy to a point that we have left everything in the hands of God. Let me tell you, God did not bring you here on earth to leave everything in his hands. If it was so, you will never be judged. And I'll tell you this to understand. If it is that everything has to be left in the hands of God, then there will be no judgment. Because if at all we have left everything in the hands of God, then for what reason God will be judging us? We will go to God. We will tell him, God, after all, why are you asking me why I was lazy, but we left everything in your hands? Why are you asking me why I did not feed my kids and I expected you to bring food for me? The Bible is telling us that there will be judgment at the end of the day. Then somebody is coming and telling you that leave everything in the hands of God. How? Leave everything in the hands of God. But then you are being told at the end of the day, you will be judged depending on what you did. What am I trying to say? Your prayers are not being answered because you have been lazy. You've been so much motivated. You've been so much read some Bible verses, and you are thinking that because of that you have everything. I'm telling you, judgment is coming, and you will be judged according to what you are doing. You are not going to receive that thing. Prayers are going to be there. You will pray years in, years out, but you're not going to get anything. Jesus prayed only after the women filled the pots with water, and he turned that water into wine. When Jesus was with his disciples in the sea and they could not catch fish, Jesus did not just say, okay, fish come, and they collected. He told them, drop the net again. Who are we not to drop our nets? Who are we to stand there and start praying that, oh God, bring us food, give us fish? Drop your net in the sea. And you should know as a person that what time is it right for me to drop the net. You're not just going to drop a net there that are expecting miracle. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Miracle is not going to happen to people who are not going out there to do something. Miracles that happened out of something. The bread and the fish that was fed the 5,000 men in the wilderness when Jesus was preaching sermon, it came from the bread and fish that was already there. Jesus himself had the power to just kneel down and ask God, Father, give us food. And manna could come down and they will eat. But still Jesus asked, what do you have? The disciples went to Jesus and told him that now, we have been feeding these people by the word of God, but they're hungry. We cannot continue like this. Jesus asked them, what do you have? He never said that God will provide. But your pastor that you are giving tithe and giving sadaqah, the offering, is going to tell you that God will provide. He's not going to tell you that, hey, my sister, you don't have food. Go home, dig your garden, and plant the seeds. The rain is coming. He's not going to tell you that, hey, my sister, you need to go to the bank, take a loan, and start a business. He's telling you God will provide. From where? Jesus himself asked his people, what do you have? before I bless it? Which human being is telling you that God will provide? God doesn't provide to lazy people. The same Bible is written, he who is lazy should never eat. Then somebody is going to give a Bible verse and say that God provides for his people. He doesn't provide for his people. He provides for his people who understands that it is through work that you get blessings. The people who understands that it is through instructions. That is why when Israelites never listened to God and they went into fight, they lost. Israelites lost many times, and they were losing battles during those seasons that they never listened to what God had instructed them. You don't need prayer. All you need is to listen to the voice of the Lord and do as the Lord instructs you to do. The prayer has been done the moment you were conceived because he knew you before you were born. When you go to church, my dear sisters and brothers, worship God. Don't ask God for the things you want. Show God what you want. Jesus said, what do you have to give these people the food? Jesus told the women, fill the pots with water. And he asked God to turn water into wine. He told the blind and the women who went to him, that your faith has healed you. So what do we need, people? We don't need prayer. We need faith. With faith, even if you don't pray, with faith, when you believe, when you have trust in God, it happens. You don't even need that prayer. I'll give you the second example. There was a time that there was the worship of the Baal, the worship of other gods in Israel. And there was a prophet called Elijah. God was so angry at the Israelites, and he sent Elijah to tell people to turn from the Baal worship and start worshiping the real God. What happened? Elijah never prayed. Elijah instructed people that, you know what? If you want us to prove that this is God, this is what we are going to do. We are going to take a cow, make an altar, build an altar, put the cow there, and pray so that God can bring fire to consume this offering. He never told God that, oh, the mighty of the mightiest, come and show your people who you are. God had that capacity of just appearing and telling the Baal prophet that, you know what, I am the God, and take their noses and, cover the noses and kill all of them. God had the power. But God wanted a man who is us to do something before he could show his miracle. Build an altar, put a cow there, and Elijah even told these people, bring water and fill the altar with water, because the Lord I serve, I believe, I have faith that even if water is full in that altar, still it will be consumed. Stop believing in motivations and prayers. Use motivation and prayer as the second priority in your life. Go out there, my dear sisters, work hard and turn to God and show God that, God, this is the work of my hand. Bless it. I am telling you, you're going to see a difference. You're going to church and praying, you don't even know what you need, but you're praying that, oh God, give us food. God is asking you, but what kind of food I give to you? Jesus asked, yes, we have preached to them and they are hungry, but what do we have? And they said that they have loaves of bread here and pieces of fish that a small boy had carried as his lunch. And he said, bring it to me. And he multiplied it. Don't go to church to ask for what you don't have. God multiplies what you have. God gives wisdom to the people who already have it. He doesn't put wisdom to where it is not. Because if he puts it there, it will never be used well. Motivation in Bible verses is going to let you down if you do not know what you want, if you do not have the energy and capacity to take in what God is going to bring. Sometimes we get overwhelmed because you're asking God for something and you do not even know how to use it. And God brings money and money falls into your hand, and before you know it, the money is gone.